a little shorter than these guys. First of all, before I get started, can I just see a show of hands? How many people have heard of the USFBA or the U.S. Freshwater Boaters Alliance? Good. A few more than I thought. We are a boating safety organization with an emphasis on helping fellow boaters. That's what we're all about. You have some literature on the tables, and the website address is on there, and you can find out a whole lot about us there.
Pull it down a little bit.
Pull it down a little bit? Is that better?
Talk better.
Okay. We're entering our 4th year. We incorporated in Ohio as a nonprofit 4 years ago, and we took one step further, and we've been certified as a 501c3 tax-exempt organization with the IRS. Now what that means is anyone who makes donations to us, those donations are tax-exempt or deductible. The other thing that it means is for our members, we can do things like deduct our boat fuel cost, certain boating expenses, mileage that we incur when we go to, like I can deduct my mileage coming here today, and so forth. So there's a little advantage there from a tax standpoint if you're one of our members. As always, you ask your tax advisor, but I can tell you those are the things that we deduct. Our membership, you can be a member if you're 16 years old or older. If you're under 18, it requires parents' written consent. And we have 3 things that we require our members to do. The first is to take a safe boating class, pass it, and get the certificate. Now, if you're my age, you don't legally have to do that, but we want to know that all of our members have had some basic training in boating safety. The second thing that we require members to do is get their boat's vessel safety checked every year. It's the standard Coast Guard vessel safety check, and what it does is it makes sure you have the right safety equipment on board and that everything works on your boat. It's free, it's easy to do, and we can schedule that for you. If your boat's around the lake, we'll even come there to do it. And then the third thing is, and this is what really differentiates us from a lot of other boating organizations, all of our members carry a VHF radio and use it on the lake. Now, it's unusual for people to have marine band radios out on a lake like this, but what that's for is when we're out there, we can all connect with each other, and we run what we call our virtual radio network. And why we do that is if we come up on somebody that needs assistance, maybe a boat needs to be towed because it's broken down or there's some other issue, we can radio each other and we can actually pull a couple of boats there to help somebody. I guess the other thing is, one of the things David mentioned are yellow burgies. This is it. If you see a boat out there with one of these on, it's one of our members. And I can tell you a lot of people on the lake that aren't members know who we are, and they'll flag us down if there's something they think that we can provide assistance with. We tow debris off the lake. I've been flagged down to say, well, there's a log floating out here, and we'll go and take care of things like that. The way we work operationally is we have what we call a hotline. There's a telephone number in those brochures that you have, and a lot of people on the lake now carry those brochures on board. If you call that number, you'll be asked to leave a message. And if you need assistance and you're on the lake, what happens is we're asking you to leave your name, what kind of boat you're on, where you are on the lake, and a phone number to call you back. Now, if you called us, what our system does, it actually traps your number if you don't have caller ID blocked. But the other thing it does is it translates what you say into text, and it sends a text message to our members that are on call. And people are usually surprised to find they get a call back within a minute after they make a call to us. And we'll call you back, we'll confirm where you are, we'll find out what the issue is, and we'll tell you how soon we can get somebody to you. And because our on-call members, even if we don't have people on the lake, our on-call members live around the lake, we can usually get to you in 15 minutes. But if you're on Grand Lake St. Mary's, if this is the lake you're on, it's even easier. Call 911. We made an agreement with the Mercer County Sheriff's Department last year with Jeff Gray, and now any calls that come into 911 for issues on the lake, for assistance on the lake, the 911 operators then route them to us. And the same thing holds true. They'll take your, where you are on the lake, what your phone number is. You'll contact us, and we will call you back right away, and we'll come out to get you. And those calls come in anytime. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week throughout our boating season. Our boating season starts generally mid-March, depending on the weather, and runs until the middle to the end of October, again, depending on the weather and the lake conditions. So that's pretty much it. We're going to show you a video here. This is what we did last year. It's 6 minutes long, but it's easier to show you everything we do. We're about a lot more than just going out and assisting somebody in the boat. So Mark, you want to start with? And then afterwards, I'll come back and I'll chat with you just briefly about what we're doing to start the 2017 season.
Thanks to the United States Freshwater Boating Alliance and their founding members, Paul, Jeff, and Denny, taking us out on their boat here today on what's a beautiful day. Now, they're an all-volunteer organization. They're boaters helping boaters.
Thank you so much for joining us for Spectrum today. I'm your host, Kevin Sandler. We have a couple of guests from the U.S. Freshwater Boaters Alliance. Ken Hughes will meet in a moment. Larry Stelzer, who's with the U.S. Fresh Boaters Alliance. Larry, nice to see you again. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks a lot. It's good to be here, Kevin.
And I'm the Chief Information Officer for the U.S. Freshwater Boaters Alliance, or USFBA. I'm here today representing our organization.
Hello, this is Thomas. I'm at Grand Lake St. Mary's. I'm on the West Bank inside, and my boat has stopped running.
We're on Grand Lake St. Mary's by Windy Point, and our boat stopped. The number's
Okay, I just want to summarize a little bit of what you saw there. Like we said last year, we towed 24 boats to safety at no charge. And the only reason I say that, we're all boaters, boaters, if you come up on somebody that needs a tow, you'll tow them in anyway. But for example, at Indian Lake, if you need a tow and nobody comes along and you call for assistance, the one place to give you assistance is Spend a Day Marina, but they charge you $80. We're all volunteers. Everything we do is because we love boating, and like right here, we love this lake. And so we do everything at no charge. You saw where we provide pontoon boat rides every year for Freedom Days and for Lake Fest. Again, that's our members. We provide those rides. Each ride is about 7 or 8 minutes. We put 1,300 people out on this lake. Now, a lot of those people come from other locations. We're not from here, and I can't tell you how many folks have come up here, say, for Lake Fest. We've had them out for that ride, and they're like from Columbus or someplace, and they say, well, everything we hear is how bad the lake is. This is absolutely beautiful. Again, we're people that live here. We support this lake. We do a lot more to support the community than towing boats. And when we did those pontoon boat rides, many of us are veterans that are in our organization. We have one really special ride we gave to a person. You may have seen one of the slides in there. They were helping a gentleman from a wheelchair onto a pontoon boat. That man was in his 90s, and the last time he had been on a boat was on a landing craft in World War II during D-Day. So, needless to say, he got longer than a 7 or 8 minute ride. We were all just really thrilled to be able to take him out there, and hopefully we're going to see him again this year. Again, the statistics, 960 hours working community events. So we do things like the Grand Lake Marathon. We do more than boating things. 7,700 personal miles driven. So we conduct classes for children, adults, and in one case even for the Salina Police Department on safe ways to tow boats and assist other boaters. And we've advocated for state legislation on behalf of ODNR and others. So those are some of the things we do. For 2017, to get started, we're going to be at the Boathouse is having a boat show at the fairgrounds on February 25th and 26th. And they've been kind enough to offer us the space to set up a booth. When you come out to look at the new boats and kind of get ready for spring, please be sure to stop by and talk to us. Think a little bit about the USFDA, and if you're interested in joining, we'll sign you up right at that time. We're also sponsoring a boating safety class with our partners, the U.S. Power Squadron. It's going to be at the Richardson Bretz Building in Salina on March the 11th. If you've never taken that class and you're a boater, I'd advise you to take it. You'd be surprised. There are things you'll learn that you probably didn't know before. It's a worthwhile class. That's the one that's in-house. It's a one-day course. It's hands-on to do it. You can also take those courses online. If you're interested in that, some of us are going to be around here after the meeting. Stop back. We'll get your contact information, make sure we get you signed up for that. And then one of the things we do every year, we kick off National Safe Boating Week. On this lake, we do it with what we call a cruise in. We bring all of our boats into the harbor at the lighthouse at Salina, and we set up there for a day. We usually have prize drawings, things like VHF radios and that kind of thing. We also have vessel examiners there, and if the weather is good, bring your boat over, we'll get your boat vessel safety check. And again, if you want to sign up, you can leave there with one of these yellow birches on your boat. That's going to be in Salina Harbor on Saturday, May the 20th. We're going to hope for good weather. And then finally here, I want to point out, we're going to reintroduce the USFBA at Indian Lake. We actually have members over there, and we started a chapter there about 2 years ago. The gentleman you saw in the memorial at the end of our annual review was Mark Atz, and Mark was our chapter director. Now, any volunteer organization, if you've ever been a part of one, you know that it takes leadership to make these things go. And Mark was aggressively trying to grow the chapter over there at Indian Lake, but he started to have failing health and he wasn't able to do it. And without leadership there, what we told the other members is, look, we pull the chapter charter because there's certain things that being in a chapter lets you do in the community and that kind of thing. We'll pull that until we can identify some leadership. We have a couple of folks that have expressed an interest in stepping up over there to do it. So this year we plan to go back to Indian Lake, reorganize the chapter, and try to get that off the ground over here. So that's everything I've got. Where you're going to see us out on the water. We go out there and have fun. We don't vote any differently than we did. We don't wear uniforms. If you join us, we give you a cap. And we give you the yellow burgee. You go out and vote like you always did. The big difference is you'll look out for your fellow board voters in a more formal way. And you have a lot of fun. It's a great group of people, very family-oriented organization. So if you have, yes.
On our bass tournament on June the 5th, one boat didn't come back. I didn't know. I could call 911, but maybe they're just out there fishing. I don't know. So I called the sheriff's department. The lake was closed.
Yeah.
15 minutes later, I got a call. Division of Watercraft said, we got your 2 boys in the boat, we're taking them into Bem's Landing.
Yes, is that the boat that flipped? Yeah.
It was real rough that day, just flipped the boat over.
Yeah.
Now, in a case like that, should I call your number on here?
Well, I would suggest, again, on Grand Lake St. Mary's, call 911. That's the easiest. We've got a lot of people.
If they're out there just fishing, they come in, and I got egg on my face.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can call that, you can call our number, but I would suggest in that case, call 911. You got a boat that hasn't come in.
I agree with that.
You know, and if you call 911, they may dispatch us instead. If it's a missing boat, they may go back to ODNR, the sheriff's department. Well, not the sheriff's department, they don't have the boat. Any other questions? If not, we're going to be around here after the meeting, and if you have any interest at all in the USFBA, please stop back to the office.
Thanks, Jeff. If you've ever had a need for those guys, it's pretty amazing how they respond. It's nice that they do. And we certainly appreciate them. It's nice to have a little security outlet like those. If you have any issues, they're there to assist. And we thank them for all that they do. We're running really long today. I understand that. So I've asked our next speaker, he's going to cut his down a little bit. I was going to give him a little bit of time to talk. So please bear with us. Once we get that done, then we'll find out who the big winners are, and we'll go from there. So, Soil and Water, Jeff Kelly, what do you think?
Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Keller, one of the technicians at the Soil and Water office. And one thing I wanted to share with you all, it's been going on for several years now. We partnered with you guys with the Lawn and Garden Soil Sampling Program. So I just kind of compiled all the results from 2016. And as you can see up there, we had 95 samples, homeowners with gardens, lawns, that came into the office. If you're unfamiliar with the way it's set up, we partner with LIA Ag Service in our office and the LIA to reduce the cost a little bit for the soil sample. So it's just $5. Anyone can come in, talk to me. I kind of tell them what they need to know. Some people are unfamiliar with how to test their soil. bring the sample back, it gets sent in, they get the results, and then I can kind of walk it through and explain to people what they need. Get some people, they come in, they've never tested their garden, they've said, well, we always went to the store and put on the same amount of fertilizer every year. But we might get the soil sample back and say, well, you really don't need that. There's different types of fertilizer, and they may be unfamiliar with that. So, as you can see on the chart, it's kind of the big one is the phosphorus levels. We looked at that real closely. So I put that portion of the test up there. It's good to see that the vast majority of them are down there below 100. That's a maintenance range. And then you get some of the ones up there higher. That's the ones that, I kind of have that conversation with them and say, hey, you're wasting your money, and you might be losing a little bit of leaching and stuff like that. So, it's something I think I want to keep going. It's real nice to reach out to some of the homeowners and stuff out there in the communities. So, I wanted to just kind of bring it to your attention. It's something that we usually advertise in April or May as the garden season starts, so they start thinking about it. We advertise at the fair. Questions?
So where do I get a kit? How do I start?
You can talk to us at the Soil and Water Office or Helena Ag Center. And what usually happens is you come in, I give you a bag, a soil probe, kind of tell you what to do, get your soil plugs, and we'll go from there.
Is there a limit on how many I can get?
Not really. I mean, they're $5 a piece.
All right.
Usually some people will test their lawn, and they'll test their garden, so they might have 2 samples. So, well, it depends what they have.
How many did you do last year?
It was 95.
95.
Yeah. So that's been pretty consistent the last 3 or 4 years. It's been right close to 100, so it's good. And some of them are returning people that's done it. I say, hey, every 2-3 years is not a bad idea. There's some people that do. It's all across the board. Other than that, I appreciate your guys' support, and I want to keep it going. Thank you.
We've been partnered with Soil and Water for a fair number of years in that lawn sampling. So if any of you want to know where you're at in terms of phosphorus or fertilizer needs, take advantage of that. It's our part is anything that we can do to keep phosphorus out of the lake. And if some of you may be low on phosphorus, so we got some if you need it. Couple more things before we get out of here. I again apologize for the length of this. Hopefully, I appreciate everybody coming and taking part in the discussion. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask. If you're not a member, we got guys back here at the table that would just love to sign you up. Not much money to do it. I don't know what it costs. 25,000, something like that. 15, whatever. 20 bucks. So if you want to become a member today, we appreciate that. And the reason we promote that is we're only as good as our membership. We're only strong. We're very fortunate now to have a very strong membership base, but there's always room for more. So please feel free to do that, and we would appreciate that. We're at the question and answer area, but before we get to that, the next thing I'd like to do is the executive board of the LIA. I'd ask you to stay over for a few minutes. We want to have a little discussion about the golf cart. I think Stan wants us all to go out and try it and see how it works. So, no? Okay. So please stay afterwards. And again, we'll be available to talk if you'll give us Stan's finances. We'll be available afterwards to talk also to anybody that may have some questions. So I, again, apologize for the length. I appreciate your attentiveness, and we'll try to get you out of here very quickly. Has anybody got any other questions that they would like to ask? Ed?
Yeah, I had one today in the college. I walk my dog out there on the west bank of Coeur Creek Park every day. We got a nice place back in there. It's all shaded out of the wind. On a cold day, we can walk back and forth back there. That's all been destroyed. I just wanted to ask you, if I could get Donald Trump to put a wall up there and Mexicans pay for it, would you go along with it?
Thanks, Ed. We can always count on you. Appreciate that. Any other questions or? Yes, sir.
Question for Dave. Along 364 there on the east side of the road, they cleared out all those trees next to your hatchery area. What is that?
That's part of the dam clearing. So basically, all of East and West Bank is a dam. And we were tasked by the state to go ahead and remove all the trees. This was something that I've worked for the state now for 19 years. I know I've heard it at least 10 different times that 19 years that it needs to be done. It needs to be done. This year we got the call and said it will be done. So we are following protocol as we've been told to do so, and part of it, yes, is removing all the trees on the dam.
Well, doesn't the tree roots hold the soil? I mean, seeds?
No, it doesn't. Actually, when the tree roots go in the soil, they spread the soil out and cause internal erosion. So the bigger the tree, the bigger the area it displaces, and then eventually the tree dies, and now you have holes in the bank. So they should have never been allowed to grow on there. Of course, 180 years ago, that wasn't the thought when the lake was pretty much created. And they didn't have a means of removing them at that time. So we're just moving forward now and trying to do the best that we can to keep the dam safe for all people around. Yes.
How much more is going to be done on the east bank?
The east bank is pretty much done at this point. They cut all the trees. They finished up Thursday around 3 o'clock, 3:30, something like that.
Some folks I was talking to this morning wondered about the section between the bulkhead and Otterbein. Doesn't appear that anything was done there, and that's the narrowest part of the bank.
Well, I guess I didn't address that. That's all the trees on the dam that the state owns the dam. So we don't own that section of the dam. From there, from the bulkhead or Aqueduct Road, from there south, we don't own that.
Let's buy it.
Yeah.
Isn't this the same thing that happened in Buckeye Lake? That's where they're going to
That's
Florida has it.